Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is set for one episode. Your host from Columbus, Ohio, is Michael Kirk. Welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast. Hello and welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast, your digital audio dirt sheet for all things Super Show. Top story, and basically the only story this week, Grand Gathering 4. The releases, the events, the featured matches, everything surrounding that. Before I get into that, I just want to say I was very happy to once again see everybody. To me, that's really the big thing about things like this, about things like the major convention appearances. Being able to see all of the people who play Super Show, who are part of the Super Show community, that you just don't get to see except for a couple times a year. You know? I got to see faces like Dizzy Derailed. I haven't seen Dizzy Derailed since the Impact Bound for Glory event, which was pre-COVID. You know, so it was great to see her again. Haven't seen her in person forever. So many of the Southern players. I've never been to Dragon Con or Southern Friday Gaming Expo or Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. So unless they happen to come up for something like Plaid Saturday or the Misos gaming events or Gen Con or Origins, I don't get to see them. So great to see a lot of the Southern players I haven't seen in months. That to me is the great part of things like the Grand Gathering. Not the product releases, not the championship matches, not the events, the tournaments. Getting to see all of the people that I never get to see, you know, all the players, all the people that are part of Super Show, that we interact with online, that we can actually, you know, sit down across from in a real place. That's the great part about this. And so I love being able to see everyone again. I look forward to it. Origins will be next month in June. That'll be the next time I see many of you. Very happy to have been around all of you for the last 3 days. Special note, I did get to meet, and many of us, I believe, got to meet for the first time, Mrs. General Manager John Calais, KB, the Concrete Jungle Warrior. She really stepped up and did a lot of the tournament sign-up and matchmaking duties. So big thanks to the Concrete Jungle Warrior for her role in all of that. There were a lot of new GM chants backing her, supporting her. I'm still going to want to see General Manager Calais around. I don't want him going anywhere, but it's nice to know that there's another hand he can rely on in the Concrete Jungle Warrior. So happy to have met her. And then also one more special note before I start getting into actual Grand Gathering coverage. Just a brief apology. I know there were people who wanted to listen to this show on the way home from the Grand Gathering. I just didn't have it in me to get it done Sunday night. So it's not coming out till Monday. Maybe it will be out in time for you guys to listen to it in the final hours of your journeys home. So I am sorry that I've disappointed people not getting it out earlier. But with that being said, let's get into it. I think the best place to start is the product releases. Now, almost all of these products were available online as well as in person. Coming out at the Grand Gathering, we had the Halloween decks. There was a bundle to get the Halloween deck and all, I believe, 9 of the Halloween competitors. I'm just going from memory. I did not count them. That was available on supershowthegame.com as a bundle, and you could buy the deck and you could buy the competitors a la carte. Pick the ones you wanted. There were also Grand Battle Packs. $25 on the website, $25 in person, but 5 for $20, aka $100 for 5 packs if you were buying the packs in person at the Grand Gathering. The Halloween bundles were $140 for everything. I'm not sure what the a la carte prices are. They're still on supershowthegame.com. The Grand Battle Packs currently listed as sold out on supershowthegame.com. I imagine that will change. I do not believe they sold out of Grand Battle Packs at the Grand Gathering, so those will be coming back, and I presume being made available for sale. The cards, the new releases in the 1 through 27s in the Grand Battle Packs were available a la carte at Grand Gathering 4. You could buy them individually. The competitors were not a la carte. So if you wanted to get Swoggle, new Funtime Bob, new Theo, new Scarlet Graves, Captain L Shoes, new Devil's Advocate, you had to buy Grand Battle Packs, hope you pull them, or trade your extras with other people. Those competitors could not be purchased individually. As far as I know, those competitors will be available in the Grand Battle Packs as long as they exist, and they may become Mystery Box and Payoff Pack exclusive. We will have to see. There were also a bunch of prize cards that you could get for making top cuts in the events. Those were available a la carte. You could buy them in the binders. Not foils, non-foils, but the new stops I talked about last week, the skill requirements where the skill must be equal to 8, those were available a la carte. The new entrance cards you could buy that way individually. They had the entire weapon series for drumsticks, guitars, and microphones available individually. You could purchase them. Most of the single cards were between $10 and $20 per single card. So, obviously a higher per card price than, say, buying a Grand Battle Pack. But those were random. And they included cards that weren't new cards. It was a mix of old cards and new cards in the Grand Battle Pack. So you didn't open them up and get all new 1 through 27s. You had some new ones and some old ones. It was similar to how they've done the old school packs. The big con-exclusive thing that they did at Grand Gathering 4 was release new competitors from the upcoming Wrestling Revolver box set. Saturday, they released 4 competitors, competitor cards only, for JT Dunn, Ace Austin, Gringo Loco, and Jake Christ. Again, competitor cards only, no finishes. Those competitors will be in the box sets, from what I understand, with finishes. This is a pre-release version. Sunday, they also put out a Crash Jackson full competitor set, sort of. It was a Crash Jackson competitor card and 3 finishes, but they weren't Crash Jackson specific finishes. They were Wrestling Revolver finishes. So similar to how the Scallywag competitors, the 6 pirates from Captain Con, have a set of finishers that works with everyone who has a Scallywag logo on the competitor. Crash Jackson came with 3 finishes with the Wrestling Revolver logo on them, so they can be used with any Wrestling Revolver competitor. Now, they are looking at the stats built around Crash Jackson, but they are the only Wrestling Revolver logoed finishes currently available for those now 5 competitors. I believe Crash Jackson's competitor set, the competitor card plus those 3 finishes I just talked about, was $20. I'm going from memory. The 4 competitor-only cards were $35. That's just going from memory. Could be wrong on that. That's how I remember it. Those are not available on the website. They were only available at Grand Gathering 4. And then, of course, they had mystery boxes and payoff packs, spectacles, other things. But those were the main product releases from Grand Gathering 4. Now let's talk about the events. I'm going to start Thursday, because even though Thursday wasn't the official Grand Gathering 4 start, the hall was open, and we had the Thursday Press 1P Invitational. Press 1P, who started the first regular online tournament Thursday nights with his Press 1P Invitationals, brought it back live in person for Grand Gathering 4. There were 51 players in this tournament. Group stages. 3 groups of 7 players, 5 groups of 6 players. Each player played the other members of their group. Top 2 records per group advanced to the top cut, giving us, I believe, a top cut of 16. No stipulations until, I believe, the finals. The semifinalists we had in the first semifinal match, Zach Ashley playing as the second version of Leo the Law versus Piglet playing as Merlin von Berlin. And we had Candyman Dan playing as Sherry Von Danish take on Sean Loeb playing as Zoe Sky. The winners of the semifinal matches, Zach Ashley and Candyman Dan. This means that Candyman Dan and Zach Ashley square off in a main event stipulation match. The winner gets a shot at a championship with the competitor they used in the tournament for the divisional championship that competitor is a member of. Now, this was an open event. You could use any competitor you wanted, but if you used a competitor in the top 96, you were not eligible for the championship opportunity, the championship shot prize. Only 2 people didn't do that. Everyone else played within that format, including our 2 finalists. The match ends up going to Crowd Meter 2. The winner getting a shot at the LFF Triad Championship because his competitor is a member of that division. Candyman Dan. Candyman Dan will take Sherry Von Danish to a Triad Championship match. Date and time to be named later. We also had Thursday night a couple of featured matches. First, we had the finals of the Big Meaty Invitational. The 2 finalists were the Cannoli, playing as Nanook from the North, and Robert the Brain Dunn, playing as Robert the Brain Dunn. This was a 2 out of 3 falls match. You had to win 2 falls to win the tournament. The entire tournament was a 2 out of 3 falls tournament. The winner of the first fall, the Cannoli. The winner of the second fall, Bob Dunn. The third fall will decide it all. And the winner of the third fall, Bob Dunn. Congratulations to Bob Dunn for winning the Big Meaty Invitational. Now, this is a good time to talk about this. With a lot of these featured matches and tournaments, they're going on simultaneously. So I'm going to give you as much information as I can, but for a lot of these events, I'm only able to see bits and pieces. Same with some of the featured matches. Some things I don't get to see at all. There are things that happen that I'm completely unaware of. I have to find out after the fact, or there might be things that I just did not see, won't find out till later on this week that I missed. I'll give you the information that I can. Next featured match from Thursday, the American Interstellar Hardcore 23/7 Championship on the line as the Meeple, the champion with the Meeple's champion, defends against Drew Madsen playing a split. This started out as a ladder match. It was a ladder match until the first breakout happens. When the match hits Crowd Meter 1, there is a decision made to switch to a steel cage match. So the match becomes a steel cage match. It remains at Crowd Meter 1. It remains a steel cage match. And at Crowd Meter 1, winning via special finish, escaping the cage, new American Interstellar Hardcore 23/7 champion, Drew Madsen. Congratulations to Drew Madsen for becoming the new champion. The third featured match I have as happening on Thursday night was the ACCW Championship match. This was a triad match where challenger Ron Rumble, playing as the mercenary Flip Gordon, and a challenger Brime Time, playing as the original Lady Baba, challenged champion Jeremy Steigerwald, playing as Tommy Stillwell, for the championship. This match went to Crowd Meter 1. The winner still champion Jeremy Steigerwald. Congratulations to Practice Site for successfully defending the ACCW Championship. That is all I have from Thursday. Friday kicks off with the LFF Trios Tournament. The winner will get a shot, date and time to be named later, at the LFF Trios Championship. Now I'm going to be reporting on these things as they happened or as I learned about them. So, there may be some chronological jumps. I may start off talking about a tournament, then jump to a championship match, then jump back to the tournament. Because these championship matches were happening unannounced, almost impromptu, where they could be fit into the format. So I might start talking about the Trios Championship, get to the semifinals, jump to another championship, come back to the Trios Championship tournament. Or contender tournament. That's more accurate. I know that may be jarring. I'll try to make it not as jarring as I can. So Trios Tournament. 42 players in this tournament. Bullet rounds. If there's diversity, the first pairings will be the diversity pairings. I know, for example, 4 people played as Ursus the Wrestling Bear. I was one of them. They broke the 4 of us up into 2 singles matches, so 2 of the Ursus players would have 1 loss guaranteed in the event. When you hit 2 losses in this tournament, you were eliminated. So if you went 0-2, you were out. If you went 1-2, you were out. I'm not sure what happened if you went 2-1 and then lost your last match to go 2-2. What I can tell you was after the bullet rounds, where players played around 4 matches, they cut to a top 15. Candyman Dan, who went 4-0 in the event, received a bye in the first round. So they went from a top 15 to a top 8, and then just single elimination all the way through. The semifinalists in this event, the semifinal matches is what I should say here. The semifinal matches in the Trios tournament were Candyman Dan playing as the League of Extraordinary Grapplers versus Aaron, I think it's Aaron Livingston, playing as Proving Ground. Candyman Dan won that first semifinal match. The second semifinal match was Brime Time playing as Southern Hospitality, taking on the SRG BOSS playing as the Ultra Cosmic Crusaders. The SRG boss won that match, so he and Candyman Dan square off in the finals. The winner at Crowd Meter 2 getting a future Trios Championship shot, the SRG BOSS. Congratulations to Steve Rask for winning the opening Friday tournament at Grand Gathering 4. Speaking of trios, we have an LFF Trios Championship match. The big guy who won the mini tournament that the Italian Bombata was hosting as GM gets his championship shot on the big stage at Grand Gathering 4. The big guy playing as Brony Coven takes on champion the Grump playing as the higher class. This match goes to Crowd Meter 3. The winner at Crowd Meter 3, still champion, the Grump Danny Thunder. Congratulations to the Grump for winning. 1 match, 1 championship shot remains from that mini tournament. Bobby, Ohio, will sometime this month, sometime in May, card subject to change, get a shot for the LFF Trios Championship. There's been an ongoing feud between the Misfit and the Big Picture. The Misfit had a shot at the Hollywood Heavyweight Championship against Eddie Fury. He feels like the Big Picture Premium screwed him by making it essentially a handicap match. So, he and the Tartan Terror team up against Big Picture Premium members, the Phil Birch and Piglet, in a tag team match. The Phil Birch and Piglet playing as themselves, the Misfit playing as Matt Cardona, the Tartan Terror playing as Candice LeRae. This match ends up going to about Crowd Meter 4. I could be wrong there. I'm kind of going from memory on that detail. But late into the match, the Misfit and the Tartan Terror make an offer to the Big Picture Premium team. If you give the Misfit a shot at the Hollywood Heavyweight Championship, and if you give the Tartan Terror a spot in the Birdcage for a shot at challenging for the Hollywood Heavyweight Championship, the Big Picture Premium gets 80% of the stock in Grime. Now, I don't know if that's common stock, preferred stock. I don't know how much ownership control that gives the Big Picture Premium, but the Big Picture accepts the deal. Tartan Terror will get into the Birdcage, which happens later at Grand Gathering 4, for a future shot at the Hollywood Heavyweight Championship, and the Misfit gets his rematch one-on-one against Eddie Fury. The Big Picture own 80% of stock, not sure what kind of stock. Hopefully it's not like chicken stock or something, in Grime. Kind of wild that happened, but that's what happened in that match. The 6-stop tournament, the next tournament Friday, 84 players. They had 5 bullet rounds, and then they cut to a top 16. To my knowledge, it was single elimination all the way through, no stipulations until I believe the finals. Your matchups in the top 8 were Pat Mulligan versus the Italian Bombata, Aaron Livingston versus King Pink, Yasmin versus Keith Overby, and Drew Madsen versus Candyman Dan. The winners of these matches were King Pink as the Overgiver, Drew Madsen as Master Osmodius, the Keeper of Prisoners, the Italian Bombata as Mighty Marcel, and Keith Overby as Ginny. These 4 move on to the semifinals. King Pink squares off against Drew Madsen. The Italian Bombata faces the frequent flyer Keith Overby. The winners, King Pink and the Italian Bombata. So they will face off in the finals of the 6-stop tournament. At this point, we have some featured matches. The LFF Hardcore Championship put on the line in a last competitor standing match. The champion, Johnny Correa, playing as Mallory the Destroyer, takes on challenger, the Possum King, playing as the Professor, Matt Smith. This match goes to crowd meter 4. As a reminder, in a last competitor standing match, going from memory, when one player hits a finish on the other, the player attempting to break out gets up to 10 breakout rolls. I believe they break out when they roll their highest skill. Can't recall if it's printed or just skill period. But they break out, they roll their highest. For each breakout roll, the person that hit the finish will get to make the opponent randomly reveal a card in hand, discard pile, or the top card of their deck. If they reveal a finish card, that card is removed from the game. If one player has all 3 finishes removed, the player who has finish cards remaining wins the match via special finish. That's number 28, number 29, and 30 being revealed. And as the crowd meter goes up, the number of cards revealed per breakout roll goes up. The winner of the match via special finish. So all 3 finishes for one player were removed. That's why this player won, making them the new LFF Hardcore Champion, the Possum King. Congratulations to the Possum King for becoming the newest LFF Hardcore Champion. The next championship match I have is the rematch I talked about just a little bit ago. The Misfit, playing as Matt Cardona, takes on Eddie Fury, playing as himself, for the Hollywood Heavyweight Championship. This match goes to crowd meter 2. At crowd meter 2, hitting the finish and winning Eddie Fury. So Eddie Fury successfully retains. Afterward, apparently Eddie Fury reveals, or it's revealed, that he had stop cards taped to his chest. Now, he says, look, I didn't need to use them, but the result was a disqualification. And apparently, the championship can change hands on a disqualification. So the new Hollywood Heavyweight Champion is the Misfit. Again, not sure how the mechanics of that work, but once again, Eddie Fury in a disqualification match at Grand Gathering 4, losing a championship, which, again, not sure how that can happen. Not sure how championship moves when you lose by disqualification. But, again, congratulations to the Misfits for becoming the new Hollywood Heavyweight Champion. The Rust Belt Championship match happens at this time. Champion the Misfit takes on the Director of Operations, Dave Marisak, and 2 members of the new Darby Order, the Lethal Endorser, Joe Gilchrist, and Dangerous Dylan Bias. I don't have a lot of information about this match. What I can tell you is that the winner and new Rust Belt champion is Dangerous Dylan Bias. Congratulations to Dangerous Dylan Bias. The championship is no longer on the Misfit, but it is still in the hands of the new Darby Order. We have the finals of the 6-stop tournament. Dayton Bombada playing as Mighty Marcel against King Pink playing as the Overgiver in what ends up being a standard singles match. I believe due to time, they removed the stipulation, made it a standard singles match. The winner at Crowd Meter 0 of the 6-stop tournament, the Italian Bombada. Congratulations to Bombada for winning the second Friday tournament. The final tournament for Friday is the Cookies Fortune tournament. The winner gets the Cookies Fortune. The Cookies Fortune is similar to the Money in the Bank that WWE uses. Players can cash in the Cookies Fortune for a shot at a championship whenever they like. There were 105 players in this tournament. 6 bullet rounds. There were diversity matches as well. They end up cutting to a top 41 after the 6 bullet rounds. Big Match Pete gets a bye in the first round of the top cut. All of those matches are steel cage matches. So we end up with the top 21 next. These matches in the top 21 are steel chain matches. Drew Madsen gets a bye in this round. This brings us down to 11 players. Candyman Dan gets a bye in the 11-player round. In this round, we have John Polverino versus Dangerous Dylan Bias, Jeff McPeak versus Drew Madsen, The Phil Birch versus Simple Chuck, Yasmin versus Bell, and Fireflash versus the New York Phenom. The winners here, John Polverino, Jeff McPeak, Simple Chuck, Yasmin, and Fireflash. So those 5 winners plus Candyman Dan face off in a birdcage finals match. Before I get to that match, though, there was a back hurtin' triad match. The LFF chiropractor who loves playing back hurtin' played against the 2 creators of back hurtin', Young Allergy and the Mad Custodian, in a triad match where every person played as back hurtin'. The winner of this match, which went all the way to Crowd Meter 6, the Mad Custodian. So, the Mad Custodian, winning with back hurtin', will get a shot at the LFF Triad Championship. He, like Candyman Dan, earns a shot at that belt during Grand Gathering 4. It's also at this time that the players and competitors they'll be using in the TVA Creative Competitor Tournament are announced. The 5 people playing for a shot to have a competitor made in Super Show the Game are Zach Ashley, playing as the original version of General Manager John Clace, Rambo Apocalypse, playing as Bobby Ohio, Simple Chuck, playing as Papa Wheelie, I believe the first version of Papa Wheelie, Trey Cantrell, playing as Piglet, and Possum Kang, playing as Evil Ed the Cheesehead. Now, I know this went on during the weekend. I do not know who won. I don't have results for this event, so I'm sorry about that. Hopefully those get reported at some point over the week, but I don't know who won the TVA Creative Competitor mini-tournament, mini-event. Back to the Cookies Fortune Birdcage Finals. We have the following restrictions. Players cannot use their entrance cards or spectacles. And players can only save one time in the match. So, if, say, John Polverino decides to save Simple Chuck, he can only roll to help him break out during one particular finished breakout roll cycle. That's it. If you only get to make one save roll, that's all the save rolls he does. If he makes up to 3 trying to help Simple Chuck break out, that's it. You cannot make save rolls from that point on. The entrance order for the finals birdcage match was Simple Chuck coming in first with Gia de los Muertos and Yasmin with Runtime Terror. Those are the first 2 in. The third man in, Fire Flash playing as Fire Flash. The fourth man in, John Polverino, playing as the rookie version of El Super Hombre. The fifth man in, Jeff McPeak, playing as Mr. Poppin' Twist. And the final man in, Candyman Dan, playing as himself. The first man eliminated, Simple Chuck. John Polverino throws out Simple Chuck, or eliminates him. This isn't like an over-the-top, like a grand battle. You're not throwing anybody out. He eliminates Simple Chuck. Second man eliminated, Fire Flash. Candyman Dan defeats Fire Flash, who reveals that he was Hold the Line Harry all along. It wasn't the real Fire Flash. The third man eliminated, Candyman Dan. John Polverino eliminates Candyman Dan. The fourth person eliminated, Yasmin. Jeff McPeak defeats Yasmin. So the final 2 in the birdcage, John Polverino and Jeff McPeak. The winner of the Cookies Fortune match, who will get that Cookies Fortune, get a future shot at whatever championship he wants, John Press 1P. John Polverino wins the Cookies Fortune tournament. Congratulations to John P. for winning the big Friday event. Saturday, we have 2 tag events going on. The first is the finals of the ongoing tag team tournament that started online and is finishing up at Grand Gathering 4, with the winner getting a future shot at the LFF Tag Team Championship. In the top 16 round of this tournament, we had Just Business face the Dangerous Alliance. The Word Bearers face Pretty Silent. The Clown World Order, formerly known as Carnage Brothers, face the Duodecimal System. New Hotness take on the Tartan Misfits. Big Buttery Sticks face Cairo FC. The Mott Boys face BTS FTW. Candy Swag face Insert Name Here. And Meep and Creep face the Transatlantic Express. The winners, the Dangerous Alliance, Pretty Silent, the Clown World Order, New Hotness, Cairo FC, the Mott Boys, Candy Swag, who wanted me to mention they won at Crowd Meter 6, and Meep and Creep, who won at Crowd Meter 3. They will go on to the top 8 of the Candy Mayhem tournament. While this tournament is going on, there's a tag team tournament for people who weren't in the top 16. 28 teams end up signing up for that, from what I've been told. This is a double elimination tournament. The winners of this event, if both people are members of the same region, will get a shot at that region's tag team championship. Going back to the other tag team tournament, the top 8 are Candy Swag versus the New Hotness, Dangerous Alliance versus the CWO, the Mott Boys versus Meep and Creep, and Pretty Silent versus Cairo FC. New Hotness, CWO, Mott Boys, and Cairo FC win, so they go on to the semifinal round of the Candy Mayhem Tag Team Championship Contender Tournament. While this is going on, we have some featured championship matches. The first, Deep 6 Championship match. The challenger, the Italian Bombata, playing as Ricochet, takes on champion Jim Bias, playing as the original Scarlet Graves. We have a new version now that came out in the Grand Battle Packs this weekend. This is a main event stipulation match. It goes to Crowd Meter 2. The winner still champion, Big Jim Bias. Congratulations to Big Jim Bias for a successful defense. The next championship match for the LFF Tornado Tag Team Championship. Jeff McPeak, the champion with McPeak Inc., scheduled to take on a mystery opponent who would be playing as My Girls. Fireball, the Tornado Tag Team General Manager, announces that he is the mystery opponent. General Manager John Clace, from what I understand, steps in, says, "No, you can't get that shot. You have to pick somebody else." So, Kirk Polka, playing as his creation, the My Girls Tornado Tag Team, takes on Jeff McPeak. This match goes to Crowd Meter 3. At Crowd Meter 3, Kirk Polka hits the Cosmic Wool Cutter. It's a finish only available with a certain Mila, my competitor, and he wins. He becomes the new LFF Tornado Tag Team Champion. Congratulations to Kirk Polka for the victory. We have an LFF United States Championship match. The challenger, Jeremy Steigerwald, playing as the new version of the Duke, takes on champion Big Match Pete, the champion with Johnny T. This was going to be a standard singles match. The champion reveals a general manager's favor that allows him to change it to a Ring of Fire, so it becomes a Ring of Fire match. The match, from what I understand, does not go past Crowd Meter 0. The winner, I believe, via the special Ring of Fire finish, still champion, Big Match Pete. Congratulations to Big Match Pete for a successful defense. Now back to the top 4 of the number 1 contender tournament for the Tag Team Championship. In the first semifinal match, we have the Clown World Order, Split playing as Aerial Lipstick, and Eddie Fury playing as DJ Outlaw, take on the Mop Boys, Piglet playing as the Big Shot, Johnny Correa playing as Snake Pit. The winners of this match, the Mop Boys. Congratulations to the Mop Boys for making the finals. Special thank you to Eddie Fury for playing my creation, DJ Outlaw, and taking him deep into the tag team tournament. The other tag team semifinal match, the New Hotness, the Goat Brock Smith playing as Witch Hunter General, and Mitchell Manja playing as Aerial Lipstick, versus Cairo FC, Yasmin playing as the new version of Copycat, and the LFF Chiropractor playing as the Commissioner Drew Madsen. The winner of this match, taking it at Crowd Meter 0, the New Hotness. Congratulations to New Hotness for making the finals of the tournament. Then we have the LFF Underworld Championship match. The challenger, Candyman, playing as the New York Phenom. She had to switch to the New York Phenom because her competitor, who she was going to use herself, was moved into the World Championship division. She takes on champion Hold the Line Harry, playing as himself. This is also a last competitor standing match. It goes to Crowd Meter 2. I talked about the last competitor standing format earlier. Same thing applies here. The winner of Crowd Meter 2, through the special finish, being able to snipe 2 finishes at Crowd Meter 0 and Crowd Meter 1, leaving the opponent with only 1 finisher left from Crowd Meter 2 going forward, completes the special finish, gets rid of the final finish, and becomes the new LFF Underworld Champion. That's right, Candyman defeats Hold the Line Harry through the special finish in the last competitor standing match. Both her and her Sweet Innuendo's tag team partner, the 2 members of She Unit, hold the 2 top belts in the legendary Fighting Federation. Congratulations to her. We go back to her tournament, the number 1 contender tournament for the LFF Tag Team Championship, the New Hotness versus the Mop Boys. The winners of this match, who will get that shot at the LFF Tag Team Championship, the New Hotness. Congratulations to the New Hotness for winning the LFF tag team tournament. Speaking of tag team tournaments, we go back to the other tag team tournaments. We have the 2 semifinal matches in that tournament. The first semifinal match is the Jawjammers, James Booker playing as Combat Chris, and Kid Thunder playing as El Super Hombre, versus I Don't Effin' Know. Chester the Jester, Sir Chester the Jester, playing as the original Zack Sabre Jr., and the Enforcer, Larry Beadnell, playing as the Phenomenal One. The winners of this match going on to the finals of the second tag team tournament, the Jawjammers. In the other semifinal match, we have the Good Shepherds, Kirk Polka playing as Mila Mai, and Bob Dunn playing as Steel Wool, take on Men at Work. The Director of Operations, Dave Marisak, playing as the Man from IT, and the Trash Man playing as Random Guy. The winners here, the Good Shepherds. So the Good Shepherds will take on the Jawjammers in the finals of the tournament. Now, something that I did not mention, that maybe I should have mentioned with the product portion of this event, was as people were buying things like Grand Battle Packs, they were earning and acquiring raffle tickets for a raffle. The raffle happens at this point Saturday night. They have prizes like new finishes, alt art cards, prize packs, chops from TJ Marconi, and a creative competitor. The winner of the creative competitor, Jason Faussone. So Jason Faussone may make the Moscow Goose, may put the Moscow Goose into Super Show the Game. We'll have to see. There's also a special video played. Matt Cardona, who apparently was supposed to be at Grand Gathering 4, couldn't make it. But he announced that he will be at Origins Game Fair. Per Steve Resk, expect Matt Cardona to be there Thursday and Friday. So if you're going to Origins Game Fair, you want to meet Matt Cardona, he should be there Thursday and Friday at that event in June. At this point on Saturday, and I actually may have the timing wrong, I think that video might have happened after the Underworld tournament, so I may have that wrong in my notes, I'm sorry. But at this point, we have the Underworld event starting. I was originally told around 88 players. I was told that number was wrong. It should be higher. I don't have the exact number. Bullet rounds, potentially up to 5 bullet rounds, maybe more, but you're eliminated with 2 losses. They cut to a top 16. 5-0s guaranteed to get in. 4-1s might be on the bubble. The following players make the top 16. And I'm going to give this to you in the matchup order. In the first match in the top 16, we have Ryan Pierce versus the LFF Chiropractor. Chiropractor wins. Second match, Le Penguin versus the Wolf Guardian, Casey Ryan, one half of the Skyriders. Le Penguin wins. In the next match, James Booker versus Titan. Titan wins. Fourth match, Funtime Bob versus the Grim Librarian. The Grim Librarian wins. Fifth match, Sean Loeb versus Simple Chuck. Loeb goes over. Sixth match, Kirk Polka versus Practicite. Practicite wins. Seventh match, John Polverino versus the Fireball. Polverino wins. Final match of the top 16 in the Underworld tournament, the Grump Danny Thunder versus the TVA Commissioner Drew Madsen. The Grump wins. While this is going on, we have the match between TJ Marconi, playing as his new competitor, the King of New York, and Bob Dunn, playing as Reverend Goodbrains. This has been kind of a grudge match building over a long time. It happens here, Grand Gathering 4 ladder match, where the winner will earn a title shot for their faction. We also learn at this point that going forward, once this weekend is over, Bob Dunn will no longer be in Just Business. He will be a member of the Mission. So, if TJ Marconi wins this match, the Crime Wave will get a future championship shot. If Bob Dunn wins this match, the Mission will get a future championship shot. This match goes to Crowd Meter 2. The winner, earning a shot for his faction, TJ Marconi. Congratulations to TJ Marconi for earning a future championship shot for Crime Wave. Back to the top 8 of the Underworld event, we have the LFF Chiropractor versus Practicite. Practicite wins. We have Le Penguin versus Titan. Titan wins. We have the Grump versus the Grim Librarian. The Grim Librarian wins. And we have Sean Loeb versus John Polverino. John Polverino wins. Those 4 men make the semifinals of the Underworld event. They also, because they are the semifinalists, earn shots at the LFF Underworld Championship. So congratulations to them for making it that far and getting championship shots for the Underworld belt. In the semifinal matches, we have Press 1P, John Polverino, playing as the Pulverizer, and Practicite, Jeremy Steigerwald, playing as Lauren Santiago. Practicite wins that match and gets to the finals. In the second semifinal match of the tournament, the Penguin, playing as Backpack Man, takes on the Grim Librarian, playing as the Pretzel Wizard. Le Penguin wins. So, it's Practicite versus Le Penguin in the finals of the LFF Underworld Championship Tournament. While this is going on, the Grand Battle match starts. By my numbers, 126 entrants. Everyone in the Grand Battle gets their own entry, gets their own entrance procession where they get to walk in as an entrant officially. That's filmed. Some people elected to enter as a faction, so that did happen. There were pods of 6, labeled A through U. Here are the winners of those groups. We had the Starmaker Everett Stevens, the Oracle, the Meeple, Matt Hass, Zach Ashley, Kid Thunder, Uncle Bradley, Commissioner Drew Madsen, the Empress, the Frequent Flyer, Nick Nimble, the Big Guy, Trey Cantrell, the Phil Birch, John Polverino, Sean Loeb, Google Docs Dan, Elder Dan, Simple Chuck, Father Light, and Hold the Line Harry all advance into the second round of the Grand Battle. The winner of the Grand Battle will get a future shot at the LFF World Heavyweight Championship. While this is going on, we have a defense of the LFF Veterans Championship. The current champion, Mark Perry with Rah Rah Perry, takes on challenger Jeff McPeak, playing as Vampire Bastet. The winner at Crowd Meter 1, still champion, Mark Perry. Congratulations to Mark Perry for successfully defending the Veterans Championship. We have the finals of the LFF Tag Team Tournament. The one that started at Grand Gathering 4, where the winners can potentially win a shot at a regional championship. The 2 teams in the finals, the Good Shepherds, both from the Deep South, so if they win, they'll get a shot at the Deep South Tag Team Championship. The other team, the Jaw Jammers, 1 member from the Midwest Coast, 1 from the LFF Tri-State region, so they won't get a regional shot if they win. This match goes to Crowd Meter 1. The winners, Jaw Jammers. Congratulations to the Jaw Jammers. No regional shot for them because they're not from the same region. We have the Underworld Tournament Finals happen at this point. Practicite versus Le Penguin. Something I'll note here, both were using the entrance card, Fate is on your side. This entrance card copies your opponent's entrance card. So in this case, because they were both using that, there's a secondary effect. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. They had to use that instead. This was a standard singles match. It goes to Crowd Meter 4. The winner at Crowd Meter 4, winning the Underworld Tournament at Grand Gathering 4, Jeremy Steigerwald, Practicite. Congratulations to Practicite for winning the Underworld Tournament. Second round of the Grand Battle. 3 pods, 5 people per pod. 1 pod, 6 people per pod. The 4 pods were an entrance order. the Oracle, the Meeple, Zach Ashley, Kid Thunder, and the Star Maker Everett Stevens. That's the first pod. Zach actually wins that pod. The second pod, the Memes Dealer, Google Docs Dan, Matt Hass, Elder Dan, Simple Chuck, and the Big Guy. Google Docs Dan wins that pod. Third pod, the Empress, the Frequent Flyer, Trey Cantrell, Uncle Bradley, and the Phil Birch. Trey Cantrell wins that pod. And then the final pod, the TVA Commissioner Drew Madsen, Hold the Line Harry, Nick Nimble, John Polverino, and Father Light. John Polverino wins that pod. So the finals of the grand battle will be Zach Ashley, Google Docs Dan, Trey Cantrell, and Press 1P. There's also some announcements going on at this point. One of the things we do learn at this time, we find out who the 5 spiders are in the committee to determine who's in the top 96 of Project Spider. Those men are Johnny Correa, the Grump Danny Thunder, TVA Commissioner Drew Madsen, Bob Dunn, and John Polverino. They are the 5 spiders. They may add some more. We could see up to 3 spiders, so we have 8 spiders total. But right now, those are the men who determine what competitors are in the World and Underworld Championship divisions. Back to some featured matches. I did not find out about this when it happened. I found out later. The Midwest Coast Championship was defended. Challenger Chris Pate, playing as E.B. Laveau, took on the Grump Danny Thunder, playing as himself. This match goes to crowd meter 0. The winner, with his 15th successful defense, the Grump. Congratulations to the Grump. As a result of successfully defending 15 times, he earns himself a future shot at the LFF World Heavyweight Championship. I can also announce that the next contender for the Midwest Coast Championship, because he was, alongside the Phil Birch, the Midwest Coast member who went the furthest in the Cookies Fortune tournament, will be Dangerous Dylan Bias. The Phil Birch did not get the shot because he's already challenged the Grump for the Midwest Coast Championship. So, while both technically would have earned it, Dangerous Dylan Bias is getting the nod because he's never had a shot at that belt before. The next featured match is sort of an impromptu defense of the LFF Tag Team Championship. The Jawjammers, who won the in-person Grand Gathering 4 Tag Team Tournament, the one that started and ended at Grand Gathering 4, they didn't get a regional shot because the 2 members were from different regions. So they end up deciding to give them a shot at the actual LFF Tag Team Championship. So, we have the Jawjammers, James Booker as Combat Chris and Kid Thunder as El Super Hombre, take on Animal Kingdom. The Cheetah, playing as the first version of the Rising Sun, and Lay Penguin, playing as Brian Cage as the Effin' Machine, in a match that goes to crowd meter 1, with the winner, new champions, the Jawjammers. Congratulations to the Jawjammers for winning and becoming the new LFF Tag Team Champions. Now, there's quite a bit of controversy around this, both from this match as well as from the tournament. And here's why. James Booker was using Combat Chris in the tournament and, of course, for this championship match. Now, Combat Chris has been, for a long time, one of the top competitors in tag team because his gimmick is so good in tag team. It's been restricted multiple times, and here's where the controversy comes in. Apparently, it was supposed to be booked for all future tag team events. Now, I went and looked when I first heard about this controversy stirring up in the background. I went and looked at supershowthegame.com, the website. I looked at the T50 list. This is a list under the rules section on the website that basically says tag teams can only contain one of these elements. And it lists competitors, some finishes, some entrance cards. So if you're using, say, one particular finish, none of the competitors or entrances you use can be on the list. If you're using one of the competitors on the list, none of the entrances or finishes on the list can also be used by your team. That's the way the T50 list works. Combat Chris is on T50 as being able to be played. Now, there's another website, the SRGPC, srgpc.net, that a lot of people use as a resource. I use that all the time. It has competitors, cards, it's got some rules information, some rulings information on there. And it has the T50 list on there also. And Combat Chris is listed as booked for all tag teams on the T50 list. Now, I need to talk about briefly my thoughts on the srgpc.net. Again, I love that website. Use it all the time. If I want to find out about a card or a competitor, I go there always before I go to supershowthegame.com. First place I look. I like reading their articles. There's a couple of articles I'd like to write for them. I hope they'll publish them. But when it comes to rules and rulings, in my opinion, SRGPC is like Wikipedia. You cannot cite it as an official source. You cannot say, well, it's on srgpc.net, therefore what that website says is authoritative. If it says this is what's booked, it is 100% booked. If it says this is what the ruling is, it's 100% what the ruling is. Now, there are certainly correct rulings on srgpc. But to my understanding, the only official source of rulings and things like that is the official company website. And so, while I love and appreciate all the efforts that Chugonomics and Pride and the corrugated cardboard villain put in, and I'm not trying to put down the website. I love the website. When it comes to actual official rules things, if it's not on supershowthegame.com, it's not official. And look, I know there are mistakes on the rules on supershowthegame.com. I've been told that the way the double team rule is written on supershowthegame.com, it implies that basically double teaming guarantees you a win, even if, for example, your turn roll total after the double team is still less than the opponent's turn roll total. I know that the bump out rule, and I've pointed this out to Steve on this show, that the bump out rule is written so that if everybody bumps out to 0, it's written as if you don't actually bump when you actually do bump, which matters for certain gimmicks. Certain gimmicks trigger if there's a bump. So yeah, I know that not everything on supershowthegame.com is correct. But if it comes down to, it says Combat Chris is on the T50 list and okay to play on supershowthegame.com, and on the T50 list and booked on SRGPC, in my opinion, you have to go with supershowthegame.com. I went and asked Steve Resk after this controversy started stirring up, asked him specifically, and I know, and I got this from his response, he hates all the rules questions. But look, Steve is the sole rules authority. I can ask Polverino, I can ask Chugonomics, and while they're on the rules committee, and I'd love to be on the rules committee, by the way, so if you're looking for another guy, I'm throwing my hat in the ring. I'd love to be on it. But at the end of the day, all the committee can do is advise Steve. Steve, as of right now, is the sole guy who has the authority to say what is and isn't according to the rules of Super Show the Game. And so I asked him, and he basically said, no, I cannot 100% trust SRGPC. I can't say everything coming from SRGPC is official. Maybe that'll change, but right now, and I get the controversy, if you're playing with a competitor that should be booked, it's one thing to win the tournament. You probably shouldn't have been allowed to be in the tournament, but then to get the championship shot and win is also rough. Because if Combat Chris was taken out of circulation for a reason, to sort of slip back into circulation is not the best. I'll just understate it and say not the best. But right now, Jawjammers are the LFF Tag Team Champions. They probably will not defend that belt until Origins. So we'll have to see what happens then. Congratulations to the Jawjammers for winning the LFF Tag Team Championship. We also have at this point the finals of the 2024 Super Show Cup. I know I'm missing the semifinal results from this. I think I'm missing the semifinal results from the Big Media Invitational as well. I'm sorry. Here were the finals. The Star Maker Everett Stevens as Mila Mai versus Mitchell Manja as Ariel Lipstick in a main event stipulation match. This match goes all the way to the final Crowd Meter 5. At Crowd Meter 5, both players kick out multiple times. As a reminder, if the finish roll is greater than 10, the only way a player can break out, if they cannot get their breakout roll total to be equal to or greater than the finish roll, is by rolling their 10 skill. Both players broke out at Crowd Meter 5 multiple times, but the winner hitting a finish that the opponent finally can't break out of, the Star Maker Everett Stevens. The Star Maker wins the 2024 Super Show Cup. Congratulations to the Star Maker. This brings us to the Grand Battle final match. The entry order was Zach Ashley as the Ikuzo version of Fox Assassin and Trey Cantrell as Eva Firecat. They start off the match. The next man in, Google Docs Dan playing as X-Royce. The final man in, Press 1P, John Polverino playing as Ricky Wright. The first man out, Zach Ashley. The second man out, Trey Cantrell. And the third man out, Google Docs Dan, all eliminated by Press 1P. Press 1P throws all three of his opponents out, and he wins the Grand Battle match, getting him a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship, presumably. So, John Polverino, coming out of Grand Battle, not only gets a future shot at the belt, which he has won this weekend as well, but he has potentially a second future shot at the belt with the Cookies Fortune. Congratulations to John Polverino. Huge weekend for him. Next, I'll talk about the Super Show After Dark match I discussed earlier. Elder Dan versus the Kraken, debuting at Grand Gathering 4, versus Sir Chester the Jester. Sir Chester playing as the original Zack Sabre Jr., the Kraken playing as D3, Elder Dan playing as Chamomile T. This match goes to Crowd Meter 3. The winner in this somewhat handicapped match, Elder Dan. Congratulations to Elder Dan. As a result, Elder Dan earns a Deep South Tag Team Championship shot for his fellow mission members, the Protectors of the Light. He also has a Master of Ceremonies card that, if he does not use it between now and September, going forward, going past September, he can use it without getting John Calase's approval first. So congratulations to Elder Dan for winning and getting those things for yourself and your faction mates. There's an LFF Tri-State Championship match. The challenger, Candyman Dan, playing as Back Curtain. The champion, Ryan Pierce, playing as Matthias, son of Zeus. New York Rules match starts at Crowd Meter 1, no disqualifications, ends at Crowd Meter 1 with the winner, still champion, Ryan Pierce. Congratulations to Pretty Hair Piercer for a successful defense. We have the Big Picture Premium #1 contender Birdcage match. The winner gets a shot at the Hollywood Heavyweight Championship. The entrants in this match are, and I'm going to go through an entry order. We start off with Split, playing as the new version of Split, and Swaggy D playing as Swaggy D. The next man in, Math Guy playing as Johann Sibelius, followed by the Tartan Terror playing as Mitchell Manja. The Tartan Terror won his spot in the Birdcage match when he and the Misfit defeated D. Phil Birch and Piglet in a tag team match. Followed by Candyman playing as herself, followed by Miss Southern Belle playing as the Ikuzo version of Belle, followed by the Wolf Guardian Casey Ryan playing as Amazing Red, followed by Rowdy Ron playing as Professor Leonardo Maggette. The first man out, Candyman, who resigns from the Birdcage, followed by the Math Guy, who Split eliminates, followed by Rowdy Ron. Swaggy D is the fourth man out. Then the Wolf Guardian is put out, and then Ms. Southern Belle. So it comes down to Split, the first man in, and Tartan Terror. There was a bounty put on Tartan Terror, I believe about halfway through the match, where if the Tartan Terror gets put out, the person who puts him out gets an additional prize. D. Phil Birch put that bounty out, and collecting on that bounty, nobody. The Tartan Terror wins the number one contender match. Congratulations to him. He will get a future shot at the Hollywood Heavyweight Championship. Will it be against his tag team partner, the Misfit? I don't know. That remains to be seen. But congratulations to the Tartan Terror for winning the Birdcage match. We then have an LFF Tri-State Tag Team Championship match. The challengers, the higher class tag team of General Manager John Clace and Loudmouth Leo Larynx, take on the champions, insert name here, Google Docs Dan and the Italian Bombata. Google Docs Dan is not available, so there's a count out, and the higher class tag team is declared the winner. Now, some controversy here because maybe that win was reversed, maybe it wasn't. I'm not 100% sure. I also find out about a couple of matches that happened that I missed when they originally happened. First, there was the defense of the Bluegrass Championship. Sir Chester the Jester, playing as the original Zack Sabre Jr., challenged current champion, the Grim Librarian, Ken Fouché, playing as the Grim Librarian for that championship. The match goes to Crowd Meter 2. The winner, still champion, Ken Fouché. Congratulations to him. The Hollywood Heavyweight Championship is also defended for a second time. The challenger, the big guy playing as himself, takes on champion, the Misfit, playing as Matt Cardona. All I know is that the winner successfully defending the Misfit. Congratulations to the Misfit. That is all I have for Saturday. Sunday, there are 3 events. The first 2 events taking place simultaneously were the Hardcore event and the Tornado Tag Team event. I was under the impression if you were in one, you couldn't be in the other. But for a lot of people, the Hardcore event ended so quickly, they allowed people to, if they got eliminated early enough, sign up for the Tornado Tag Team event. Per my count, there were 24 players in both events. In the Hardcore event, there were groups of 6. The opening matches, and these were all single elimination in the Hardcore event. The opening matches were 2 people played in a tables match, 2 in a ladder match, 2 in a steel chain. The winners of that faced off in a triad match using TLC rules, tables, ladders, and chains. And then the winners of that, and there'd be 4 winners with 24 in the total. The 4 players would play off in a fatal 4-way tables, ladders, and chains match. The 4 players in the finals of this event were Piglet playing as RJ Bombshell, Duff Martin playing as King Kong Dundee, Bob Dunn playing as White Lily, and Eddie Fury playing as himself. This was an elimination match, so there would be 3 pinfalls and 1 winner. The first man eliminated, Eddie Fury. Second man, Duff Martin. So it comes down to Piglet versus the Brain, and Bob Dunn wins. Congratulations to Bob Dunn for winning the Hardcore event. The Tornado Tag Team event was a double elimination event. The finals of that event ends up being a triad elimination match. We have Jokerfish playing as Cage and Diverna versus Ken Fouché playing as the Duo Decimal System versus the GOAT Brock Smith playing as Zen Garden. The first man eliminated Jokerfish, so it's Ken Fouché versus Brock Smith. The winner of the Tornado event, Ken Fouché. Congratulations to Ken Fouché for winning the Tornado Tag Team event. We have our guest appearance, and I should talk about this. I don't think I talked about it. We had two guests show up. TJ Marconi was there Friday and Saturday. Matt Cardona canceled. We had a surprise guest Sunday. Crash Jackson from Wrestling Revolver showed up. This is when his competitor debuted. He was signing his competitor. He was taking photos. A lot of those photos were posted to the SRG Super Show discussion group on Facebook. So we had our third guest there, and he was there for, I think, the entire day. Let's start talking about some featured matches that happened on Sunday. A lot of featured matches Sunday. A lot of featured matches every day. And these were going on while all of the events were going on. There was a CCW Tornado Tag Team Championship match. The challenger, the judge Tim Riley playing as Cheer and Fear. The champion Fireball playing as My Girls. It goes to Crowd Meter 1. The winner, the Fireball. Congratulations to the Fireball. There's an impromptu Deep Six Championship match. Jim Bias had successfully defended earlier in the weekend. For reasons I am not aware of, he vacated the championship. So they had a fatal four-way match. We have the Italian Bombata, who won the six-stop event, with Mighty Marcel in the match. Johnny Correa as himself, The Great Outdoors as herself, and Dizzy Derailed as Mombata. This match goes to Crowd Meter 3, first fall, the winner becoming the new Deep Six champion, Dizzy Derailed. Congratulations to Dizzy Derailed for becoming the Deep Six champion. I think this might be her first taste of LFF Gold. If that's true, way to go, Dizzy. Very happy for you. Congratulations. That was that. The Intergalactic Championship was defended. Zach Ashley, the challenger with Luna Hallows, takes on champion Brian Wait For It Schmidt, playing as Wait For It Chopper. There was a special stipulation in this match. When a player hit a submission, they could shuffle a submission card back into their deck from their discard pile. I don't know anything about the crowd meter. I didn't really get to watch this. The winner, new champion, Zach Ashley. Congratulations to Zach Ashley for becoming the Intergalactic Champion. We have a Triad Championship match. The challengers, Drew Madsen playing as Mimic, Trey Cantrell playing as Grinch Pit. The champion, the prize fighter, Simon Dabner, playing as Brian Cage, is the Effin' Machine. This match doesn't go past Crowd Meter 0. The winner, new champion, Trey Cantrell. Congratulations to Trey Cantrell for winning the Triad Championship. Now we get to the LFF World Heavyweight Championship match. This is a triad match. One challenger we knew about going into it, John Polverino playing as the Master Chef, LMP. The other challenger was named Saturday Night. Playing as the perfect assistant, Loudmouth Leo Larynx gets another shot at the LFF World Heavyweight Championship, being defended by Yasmin playing as Runtime Terror. I did not get to see much of this match. I know that Yasmin hits the finish against Loudmouth. John Polverino elects to make a save roll on the first breakout roll, elects to make a save roll on the second, declines on the third, and so Yasmin successfully defends. Afterwards, people are yelling at her to get out because Polverino has the cookie's fortune and could cash in right then and there. Cash in does not happen. Yasmin leaves with the World Heavyweight Championship. Both members of She Unit leave with the top two singles belts in hand. Faction Wars. There had been Faction Wars matches for the finals between Just Business and the higher class going on throughout. For a long time, it was at 7-6. I believe Friday night, the score was 7-6, Just Business over the higher class. No matches are played Saturday. We have 3 matches on Sunday. Whoever wins those 3 matches wins, because I think getting to 12 won the whole thing. We even had a match happen online because Mysterious last minute could not be there, so she plays Mark Perry online. The winners with a score of 13-6, Just Business. Just Business wins Faction Wars 5. They will get the big prizes. A lot of repeat winners. 3 people on Just Business were winning their 3rd Faction Wars. 2 were winning their 2nd. 3 were winning for the first time. That is what Bob Dunn told me. So that's what I'm telling you. He also expressed to me and gave me permission to say this was one of the most grueling experiences he's ever gone through in Super Show. 4 to 5 months of stress. He's happy it's over. What's the future of Just Business? I don't know. We know that Bob Dunn is moving on to the mission. How about the other members? We'll have to wait and see. But congratulations to Just Business for winning Faction Wars 5. I also find out at this point there were 2 other defenses of the American Interstellar Harder Core 23/7 Championship, won earlier in the weekend by Drew Matson. Drew Matson, the champion, was split in the first match, takes on Steel Wool, playing as Peng, one of the Marauders of the Multiverse. The winner of that match, still champion, Drew Matson. The second match, Drew Matson again with split, defending against the Wolf Guardian Casey Ryan using Quadruple H. The winner in that match, Casey Ryan. Congratulations to Casey Ryan for becoming the American Interstellar Harder Core 23/7 champion. The final match of the weekend, what one participant in the match called the main event of Grand Gathering 4, was for the LFF Tri-State Tag Team Championship. I reported earlier, insert name here got counted out. Then the belts got returned. I don't know what happened, but insert name here faced John Calais and Loudmouth Leo for the championship, winners champions. Insert name here, the Italian Bombata playing as himself, Google Docs Dan playing as the original Brian Cage, General Manager John Calais playing as Loudmouth Leo playing as Booker Mania, in a long tag team match that goes all the way to Crowd Meter 5. The winners walking out as champions, insert name here. Congratulations to insert name here for leaving Grand Gathering 4, the LFF Tri-State Tag Team Champions. That was the last featured match, and that was really the last thing I believe that happened. Maybe the finals of the last event, but let me talk about the last event here too. The global event, double elimination, 60 people signed up. The semi-finalists in this event were Ms. Southern Belle, playing as the brand new, newly released Wrestling Revolver competitor Ace Austin, Zach Bruno, Zachary Snow, El Gato Sombrio, playing as newly released competitor Swoggle, Everett Stevens, playing as King Hyena, and the Cannoli, playing as Tetsuya Naito. As a reminder, global event, global division, all independent wrestling competitors. In the first semifinal match, Bell faces Zachary Snow. Bell wins. In the second match, Everett Stevens faces the Cannoli. The Star Maker wins. So, Ms. Southern Belle versus the Star Maker Everett Stevens in the finals. Ace Austin versus King Hyena. The winner at Crowd Meter 1, winning the global event, becoming the inaugural global champion, Ms. Southern Belle. Congratulations to Ms. Southern Belle for winning the final event of Grand Gathering 4 and becoming the new global champion, the inaugural global champion. Those were the big things coming out of Grand Gathering 4. I do have a couple of other things I want to bring up. First, we had a couple of new general manager announcements. The new Tornado Tag Team general manager replacing Fireball is going to be Hold the Line Harry. And the new Global Division general manager replacing Steve Rask will be the Cheetah. Congratulations to both of them for that achievement. There have also been a couple of announcements regarding the global division under the new regime of the Cheetah. The first is that the SRG1 Climax that he has run fairly regularly will now be an official event, and the global division will defend its championship about every 6 weeks. So, those are two things we can expect coming for the global division. Now, something that I did not catch at all, I did not find out until after Sunday, was that the faction battle between the New World Order and the Unionverse took place. This had been talked about before. I'd reported it on previous shows. The loser of this faction battle gets Alexander Slamilton. Alexander Slamilton joins the faction. I don't know anything about the matches. I can tell you the final results were 7-2 New World Order wins. So, the Unionverse regains Alexander Slamilton. Alexander Slamilton rejoins the Unionverse. Congratulations to the NWO for the win. Congratulations to the Unionverse for regaining Alexander Slamilton. There was also something that was going to be happening at Grand Gathering for the GOAT Gauntlet match. Brock Smith would basically allow players to play 3 matches. If you won all 3 matches, you would get a shot at the United States Championship, either at Grand Gathering 4 or at the end of May. First match was a tornado tag match. Second match would be a steel cage match. Top 32 World Heavyweight Championship division booked. Third match would be a standard singles match. You must use a competitor from the United States division. At last I spoke to him, only one person made it past the first match. That person lost the second match. So to my knowledge, nobody won the GOAT Gauntlet. Nobody got a shot at the United States Championship from that. So that basically yields no news. As far as other events for Super Show the Game, there was a Monday night event from this week, a Monday Night Fights Chaos. It was an Underworld Division event. They had 12 players, group stages, 2 groups of 6 players. Top 2 advanced to the top cut. Semi-final round was New York Rules. Finals was special guest referee, Lord of the Dance special guest referee. The semi-finalists were Ant West, the antagonist, playing as the antagonist, and Titan, playing as Ruby Renegade. The finalists were the Wolf Guardian, playing as Amazing Red, and the Cannoli, playing as Luna Hallows, with Casey Ryan winning. Congratulations to the Wolf Guardian for winning Monday Night Fights. The LARPer was going to host a Thursday night tournament. Unfortunately, that was canceled, so that didn't happen. That is what I have for you from last week. As far as what's upcoming this week, last I looked, Monday Night Fights is not happening. Thursday Night Fights is not yet on SuperShowTheGame.com. So look for that. That may pop up. We may have Dojos Tuesday nights. I expect that still. We'll have to see. And then CCC. I thought we might have the next CCC match this week. Right now, from what I'm seeing, that's doubtful. Maybe they will announce the match this Wednesday night, but I do not think that's going to happen. I think the earliest we will have the next 2024 Create a Competitor Competition Top 16 match will be May 15th. No idea who's going to be in the match. We'll have to see, but keep your eye out for that. And then just 2 more things before the show ends. First, I have an update on the TVA Create a Competitor Tournament between the 5 members of the TVA that Drew Madsen is hosting. That tournament 100% did not conclude at Grand Gathering 4. It will likely resume at a future TVA Locals event. I'll give you more information on that when I have it. The second thing that I forgot to mention is that Split brought a new belt to Grand Gathering 4, the Play True Championship, and essentially over the weekend ran it in a similar vein as the 24/7 championships have been run, where players had to compete for the championship using singles competitors that they created. So if I wanted to compete for it, for example, I would have to use DJ Outlaw or the Guillotine to play for it. If the Star Maker Everett Stevens wanted to try for the championship, he would have to play as either the Shadow Phoenix or the Phoenix EV Fresh. Split started off the weekend as the champion with Split. I know multiple people competed for it over the weekend. Fireball walked out of the event as champion. Now, Steve Resk has always been somewhat hesitant about running events where people have to play as competitors they created, but it seems like in this particular case, he actually approved of it. He liked a 24/7 championship done in this style at this type of event. Now, will we see the Play True Championship come back at other events? Will it continue to be in this style? Will it become more like a traditional championship? We'll have to wait and see. But right now, it looks like at Grand Gathering 4, the Play True Championship was well received by players and by SRG Universe alike. So thank you to Split for creating that belt and bringing that to Grand Gathering 4. With that being said, that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Outlaw Mudcast. I would like to thank all of you for listening, and a good day.